Welcome to the Spec Moto Podcast, where you'll find Canadian riders, industry, and stories.
All right, hey guys, we're excited to announce that today we have on team owner of MX101, Sand Del Lee track owner, and just an overall good energy that's at the races, part of the industry. I don't think you can find a single person that doesn't enjoy spending some time under the MX101 rig.
You can find one. You can find one.
We have Kevin Tyler on the line. Kevin, how's it going?
Everything's good. The sun is shining. We're Monday morning out here sitting on our new deck at Sand Del Lee. Life's pretty good.
Awesome. How's the track opening going?
Good. I mean, it's super, super stressful in terms of, it's a long winter around here. It's really painful to sit and watch Gopher open up. And we're kind of like 4 weeks to the day from the time that they do their official open till we can get open. So it's a painful 4 weeks watching Diggs. He rubbed it in a couple weeks ago in a group chat that, I'm literally floating away and can't do a thing because there's so much water on the property. And he's telling me that he's prepping to get the lawnmowers out to cut grass before the first annual event.
Oh no,
it was a little salty. Yeah, it's salty. It's salty. But, we go from our property. I mean, we're basically kind of swampland out here.
Mm-hmm.
So we go from underwater, floating away from 7 days from that state to we were open this weekend and the track was dusty.
Oh wow.
It's so violently swings left and right that it's hard to control sometimes.
That is pretty wild too, and it's that deep sand too, so it doesn't need a lot of water, I guess.
No, it's good, but I mean it's because of that sort of swampish land. Like our water table is incredibly high here, so I mean we were literally looking like all of the ponds around the track. So before the finish line and that front sweeper, they were over the track on Monday. Literally, like we'd gotten so much rain that those were full and over on the track, which I can't remember seeing that. We get wet, but that was, there was nowhere to put the water. And literally the water is crusted to the side of the track and the track was dusty.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a bit of a battle, but I mean, it is what it is. We were open, bunch of happy people, good to go.
Neat. And when your first local race is coming up here with AMO here soon, no?
AMO mid May.
Oh, nice.
16th,
Perfect.
16th weekend. So I think we got 3 weeks.
Nice. You guys get a pretty big turnout for that, right? Like it's about 600-700?
So we're always a little bit lighter. I think Gopher was I think they were low 700s, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be 500 maybe.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
We're always a little bit below, but the big thing with us, with our races is that our entries don't sway very much. We might be down 50 or up 50, but we're never at the big numbers that, Gopher or a preseason Southwestern race will draw. But we're never low either. It's always just kind of status quo. Really.
Interesting. You guys are pretty close to Quebec. Do you guys ever play into their schedule? Do a lot of Quebec people come up?
Yes. I mean, we do get a lot of Quebec. It's really hard. It's another one of those things that should be so easy to kind of just stay off each other's toes and schedules, but it never happens. So we always end up with a fairly close Quebec race against our races. So that doesn't help, but we do have, we're 45 minutes to Quebec, to the Gatineau border, and we've got a really loyal following from right there. So our Quebec turnout is good.
Oh, that's cool. That's good. They have a big scene there that's just huge, under the radar, eh?
I don't know if it's under the radar. When I was a pro, I raced in Quebec.
Oh,
I didn't, because it was closer to me to go to Quebec than it was to go race the Ontario guys. So, I grew up with Dubé, JSR, those guys, racing with those guys. I was always treated super, super well by the Quebec promoters.
Nice.
I went there most weekends.
All right. That's a perfect segue. I was going to start this off. How did you first get into moto? Tell us your early stories with dirt bikes.
It goes right back to my dad. Came from England originally and did sidecar trials on dirt bikes over there. And so here, I grew up in Munster, so I grew up 5 minutes from Sand Del Lee, and my dad wanted to get a dirt bike again. So what better way than I get one, and then he has to get one to kind of follow me around, right? So that was kind of it. And yeah, I started on a KDX 80, little enduro 80, and rode it for a few months, and then we went to go racing, and I raced that thing for a full year in the 80 class the first year, and just got hooked, and that was it. I mean, that was back in 84, I guess I started when I was like 10 or 11, and then then that was it. I kind of took to it. I always tell everybody's good at something in their life. You know, they just got to kind of find their calling. And for me, it was riding a dirt bike. I was pretty good at it, and unfortunately, it wasn't a skill set that made more money, but it's been okay. It's been okay.
That's awesome. So what was your like amateur career like? You say you kind of started in 84, Walton started in 91. Did you ever make the trek there?
I did, and I hated it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I hated Walton. It just, I grew up in the sand, so sand for me is kind of my second coming, and there isn't much hardpack here or ruts and things like that. So and then even Quebec, you know, the stuff close to me was primarily sand, so that was what I was good at. So I always struggled at Walton.
Oh no.
I didn't. Yeah, my amateur career was pretty lackluster. Like I was always, you know, second or third fiddle to kind of somebody, and I didn't want to spend much time. Like I wanted to go pro and race Supercross. That's what I wanted to do. So I kind of sped through. You know, I think I got off my 80s when I was 15. Just I was physically a little bit too big. And I did one fall race in junior, and I won that going away. So the next year I turned intermediate, and the year after that I turned pro. So,
oh wow! And did you go to Supercross?
I did. I raced a lot of AMA outdoor nationals and Supercross. Yeah, and I was okay. Like I mean, I made night shows in Supercross. I never made any mains of like the true AMA ones. I did when, you know, they kind of came to Canada and they were sort of half-assed rounds. I made the mains at those a few times, and then outdoors, I was like that gas card. I mean, that's a joke, right? Is that I'm the king of the gas card holders. In the outdoor stuff where there really wasn't a gas card, I missed by one. I think it was about 8 times. You know what I mean? Where they take 4 out of the qualifier and I finished 5th. I did that 8 times. Like it was just so painful. And then I made it once at Southwick. I qualified straight in out of the motos, and
that adds up the sand.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, there you go. And qualified at Southwick one year. So that was kind of that was sort of my coolness in AMA stuff, was that I, you know, raced and qualified for U.S. National.
Oh, that's awesome. So do you ever like kind of like, I don't know if a lot of people know that. Do the young bucks like on your team and hanging out around Mount Sand Del Lee kind of know that, or is that kept hush hush?
I think like, I mean, the people that are in the know for sure, you know, that have been around, but I mean, there's people that come to Sand Del Lee that frequent now, that are members that have no idea that I even ride. Like I ride maybe once a year. These days I just haven't had a lot of desire, because I get on the bike and my brain still thinks that I should be really fast, and I'm not that fast. And I think that's very common. Yeah, and I was severely out of shape, but my brain hasn't caught up. I mean, I'm probably still trapped at a 17-year-old mental capacity. So it's not fun, you know. So I don't ride very often, but when I do ride, people are like, holy shit, like you go fast. And I'm like, that's not really fast, and it's not really good, but thank you. Like, so there are definitely people that have no idea around here that, you know, that I can ride a motorcycle pretty decently.
That's so funny. That it feels pretty common in like the industry around this age. I think it's yeah.
I mean, there's still a few, right? Like, I mean, all my buddies kind of bust my nuts that I need to go out and race Pomeroy at Walton, you know, and trying to take them down in the plus 50 class now. And I'm like, that's cool. But in my prime, he handed me my ass. So what have I done that's now made me better than what he's doing, right? Like, he's just going to continue to beat on me, I'm sure. So
that's funny. That's what Brett said too. I feel like as I'm talking to more people, I think we need to have like an industry race.
Yeah, I mean, we all did. Like, I used to beat up on Brett, so that'd be fun. So I'd race Brett because I could beat up on him.
That'd be pretty sick. All the team owners, media, industry line up at Walton, an industry class.
Do we have to let Digger race his quad though?
Oh yeah, he's got to get out there on the quad for sure.
Then I'm in. Then I'm
He's
in.
just wide bike. He'll take everyone out.
That checks.
Yeah, that'd be rough. Adds up. That's pretty sweet. So when did like the track come into play, Sand Del Lee? Did you grow up having that, or was that like a later in life kind of thing?
I mean, it's always lived 5 minutes from it, and it is. I mean, again, people don't really know, and maybe I don't do as good a job as I should, but I mean, we're the oldest facility in Canada and one of the oldest in North America. Like it started in 1970, and last year was our 56 years this year. So we've just got a nose on, places like Moto Park and stuff like that that started in the early 70s. Yeah, we were 1970, so it was always and owned by the same family, the Argues. They built it. They took it from. They started a snowmobile. It was a snowmobile oval that like Villeneuve and some of those super old iconic names raced at. And then the kids wanted to get into dirt bike, and the snowmobile stuff kind of died off a little. They turned it in, and it's been a dirt bike track ever since. So I grew up, with it here, always kind of here. I started doing some lessons in the late 90s, and it was run by a club, very similar to kind of Calgary and stuff, like a board of volunteers. And I'm sure just like Calgary, sometimes it's hard to get volunteers and people that wanted to do it. And my schools were doing really well that I'd started with a couple guys, and they kind of came to me in 2000 and said, well, how about you guys just take over the track? And funny enough, I mean, Bill Wright, Bill's dad was on the executive at that time with Steve Dool and a couple other sort of prominent names from the area. And they were like, well, why don't you take over the track? I'm like, I don't want to run a track. Like, I'm just doing some schools, but the schools were doing pretty well. And I kind of did well, if I don't do it, who's going to do it? If I don't do it and somebody else, comes in, are they going to shut my school down? And
Oh, cut out a little bit there.
and I've been running it for 26 of them. So
Oh, we lost you. We lost your rate
Sorry.
when you were saying when you took over the track.
Yeah, so took over. So we took over the track in 2000.
Okay.
So I've been here for 26 years now, and kind of gone through some iterations of partners that have kind of come and gone with family and stresses and all that sort of stuff. And I'm the last Mohican out here.
Oh wow, that's pretty interesting. So in 26 years, you've obviously seen it grow a lot. Is there anything that really stands out that made a big difference?
I don't think so. I mean, we're a little different than a lot of places. Like we are very heavily membership based, and so I think that's really helped with the stability. Obviously climate, and some days are sunny, some days are wet, and managing that as a track, like revenue and expenses and all that stuff is tough. And we've kind of been a membership since the get go, so it really sort of evens out some of the ripples and makes life a little more stable. And I really do believe that. I mean, Courtney Lloyd calls it the cult out here, the MX101 cult. That we're a pretty tight group out here. We're a little bit secluded. Like, yeah, we're close to Quebec, and yes, obviously we're close to Southwestern. But in terms of tracks, we're within really a 2.5 hour window. It's really just us. And there's places that kind of come and go along the way that have opened and closed, but we've been kind of the staple. And our membership is super loyal to the families and riders from here, around here. And I think that's what is one of our best defining, is just how close knit our group is.
Yeah, it's definitely noticeable. I came to a AMO race there in the spring last year, and I have never seen more MX101 shirts and decals, and everybody just looked like they were full factory on the team. And I was like, what is going on here? Like, this is crazy.
So and everybody I think everybody just kind of feels belonging. So belongs, you're a member, you feel belonging to the track. And I mean, it's not that other tracks aren't, because I know they have some tight knit groups but this place is like one giant family. Like it really is. Everybody really looks out for everybody else. And I think the membership really drives that, in that it's it's just that sense of belonging. And then that just boils over into the team where, everybody feels a part of the team and
Yeah, that's
everybody
awesome.
feels, yeah. So the team gets a lot of local support, probably a lot more than the other teams do from
Mm.
their particular places. And I think it's based on that membership model.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's just like a sense of community that
It
backs the
is. Yeah,
team kind of. That's really cool.
exactly.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
sweet.
exactly.
What does like
Yeah.
the
So
schedule there look like? Like when are you guys open? Is it like membership they have like a key they can come whenever, or is it like once a week? How does that look?
So it used to be that. It used to be you used to get a key and you could come whenever. Insurance changes right around the time that we took over
Hmm.
kind of put a stop to that, where you have to have somebody on site during open hours. So our hours were 5 days a week. We're Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday as our open days of riding. So we've got hours each days of those. Then we do our lessons on Mondays and Thursdays so that the track's closed. So like our learn to ride where you can come out and we'll kit you up in FXR and take you out on the Yamaha TTR and show you the sport. Those happen Mondays and Thursdays. So kind of when from the day that we open, we're basically open in here 7 days a week. Whether it's the lessons or open riding or our races or our summer camps or something. So yeah, so it's as a member you can come and go any of the days that we're open and throughout the hours. And then we sell 10 spots each day to kind of non-members,
Oh
so
wow.
that we kind of keep it limited. But you know as we kind of spoke offline, like Calgary's got 3 tracks and Digger's got,
Yeah.
I think he's got 2 tracks that he operates plus the trails. We literally just have the main track and our kids track.
Hmm.
And with our members, like, without taking any day passes or anything, just members only, 50 to 70 people during the week, and we're 80 or 90, every single weekend. So then
Oh
we add in
wow.
our 10-day passes, and we're 80 people during the week and 100 on weekends, and that's about as busy as we can be and still offer good riding. Like we break it up into sessions. It's like a schedule kind of thing where we've 3 groups that we just cycle through for the entire day. So
Oh wow.
um, yeah, and as busy as I want to be,
Yeah,
which
that's
is
that's
why which
yeah.
which is why we limit the day passes.
Yeah.
I get it. It doesn't work for everybody's schedule to purchase a membership, which is why we do the day passes. But at the same time, I get asked the question, well, what happens if, you suddenly shift? Well, then the day passes away. Like
Yeah.
that's kind of the reality of it, right? Is that, we sort of have a capacity that's set by me, and I dictate how many people I think is kind of safe and want to operate, and that's what we do.
Yeah, that's good. That keeps it safe and organized
I
and
think so.
not
Yeah, I
overwhelming.
think
Yeah.
we get days that are a little overwhelming, but I don't think they're as overwhelming as some other places that just go for it kind of thing. I could make more money if we didn't do memberships and just sold days, pay as you goes. But I truly believe that the membership is what is core around.
Yeah, that community is kind of priceless, especially in like a time of
I think
need or
so.
something and you need that. It's very nice to have, you know.
Anytime you need anything, somebody steps up and helps out.
Yeah,
Like
that's really cool.
there's never a question around here. So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome. So when did the team come into play? At what point did you say like, "Okay, we need to travel across the country and race a series?"
Yeah, so I mean, I raced the Canadian Nationals for the balance of what I was doing. When there was good nationals, I kind of came in at a weird time when the CMA and the Stally sort of battle was happening, and there wasn't much money to be made at all anywhere racing professionally. So I kind of dipped around. That's when I dipped down to the States and did stuff. But it was 2013, and it was actually Jeremy Medallia that he got let go from KTM and was looking for some support and called Yamaha about doing something. And Yamaha called me and said, we're somewhat interested in helping him. We don't want to help him directly because we don't want to manage it. We don't have the staff and resources to kind of manage a race or an individual racer at the time. But how about, would that help the park? And obviously Jeremy and the whole Medallia family living, at the time, 30 minutes from the track, they were here, all the time. And obviously, everybody is supportive of them because, whether it's, Jeremy being serious and the race type, or Tyler just being the ultimate, moto guy,
Mhm.
everybody's drawn to them. So I was like, yeah, that would be amazing. So we kind of started a little team based around Jeremy, um, and went back to racing in 2013. And with Jerry, we actually won a 450 national at Deschambault, which, you know what I mean? That would be like Dusty Rock or something.
Oh, you cut out there.
I'm sorry, I don't know. I'm just sitting on my deck. I don't know what's
That's
happening.
so weird. Yeah, you said it would be like Dusty Rocks winning a 450 race this
Or
year.
or winning a national this year, right?
Yeah.
Like, and that's no slam against Dusty Rocks by any means.
No, no, no.
Like,
Yeah.
just just a brand new startup that doesn't have the elite riders, because the elite riders are all on teams,
Hmm.
and they came out and won one, right? And that's kind of what we did in 2013, and it was pretty darn cool.
Oh wow.
And then the Yamaha had a new 250F coming out in 2014 with the fuel injection. That was a big step for them. And Brian said, well, Brian Hudgens at Yamaha, what if, we make you the official sort of 250 grassroots program, and OTSFF, it'll be the big factory program. And so, yeah, we got some factory support kind of right off the get-go to be the 250 team, which is why we were a 250 team for so many years, was Yamaha. That's how they wanted it, kind of separated between the two programs. So.
Oh wow, that's pretty interesting. I don't think I realized that Jeremy was the first rider of the team. That's pretty cool. And then how long after did Tyler hop on?
You know what the funny part is? I have never had Tyler on the team.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, after all of that, and I've got locals that just grill me as to how can we get him on these days. Yeah, I've never, I've helped Tyler. I've flown to
Oh.
races to go and support Tyler. You know what I mean? Because he's always been around and he's amazing. But officially, he has never had MX101 as a main sponsor.
Yeah, for some reason I picture him on a Yamaha, but it was a Blackfoot Yamaha, wasn't?
Blackfoot,
Yeah,
correct? Yeah,
yeah.
yep,
Interesting.
yep,
Oh
yep.
wow.
Back in the day, it was Blackfoot, and yeah,
Oh, he's on Yamaha this year. What do we got anything
he
planned for
is.
26? I guess last year
He
he
is.
did, but just not
He
MX101 graphics.
That's it. You know what I mean? And I helped him. I mean, we helped him with some motor stuff, and I think I ended up donating an exhaust system to the program and stuff like that, and whatever we could help. I think Alan was tuning his ECU and stuff like that. So I mean, we've always helped him. I don't need my ego is not so big that I have to have a sticker for every little thing that I do here or there. But
Mhm.
yeah, so we helped Tyler as much as I could last year, with parts and support and a little bit of stuff. And then obviously, Talon, I wanted to
Yeah.
help him out and kind of keep them all on blue. So yeah, we do what we can, but I don't think there'll be any more. I mean, he's got a great dealer out there with Kirk and Valley, and
Mhm.
those guys are supporting him huge. And I believe that he's got some actual Yamaha direct support this year. So yeah, I mean, if I can be a help in a small way, I will, but I don't need the logo on them to know that I'm helping them out.
Yeah, it's got to feel kind of cool though. 26 years later, you got Talon with the MX101 graphics on his bike. That's like a full circle kind of moment.
Yeah, that was cool. That was very cool at Walton for sure. Him winning the super mini class. He wasn't the expected guy, and
Hmm.
to be up there with the graphics and on a blue bike and winning was pretty darn cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So obviously, we see a lot of amateur. I think there's an Instagram that's MX101 amateur team. Talk a little bit
Yes.
about like the importance of that. Obviously, the community at the track definitely plays a part in that. Talk about what you think the importance of like really spending some time in that scene is for the team.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's neat. Like we kicked it off way back with a young Dylan Wright. We had a small sort of amateur team of just kids that we kind of helped. You know what I mean? Whether back in the day that was doing lessons and things like that with them, and Dill was one of sort of the originals, and we supported him from his amateur to sort of pro career, if you will. That was kind of right at the beginning of what we were doing with Jeremy and that sort of stuff. So it fit in really nicely. Um, and at the time, I had to really pull hard on Yamaha to kind of make that happen and prove that there was some, ROI on supporting amateurs. And obviously, Dill landed on the podium at Gopher with yellow backgrounds. and that obviously helps me, you know, with this is what I think can happen kind of thing. And, you know, as Dill kind of moved up and moved on to GDR, the team, I wouldn't say it went away, but, you know, maybe some of the focus kind of dropped off of it. And then, you know, locally, I kind of ended up having, you know, Chandler Powell and Bergeron kind of coming up on Yamahas. So I kept pulling on Yamaha to see if there was anything or we could do anything. And now sort of the Blue Crew timing is coming with, you know, this LA and all that sort of stuff. It's all kind of just sort of turned and, you know, it worked really well last year. Last year was a really good look.
Yeah, that was great
for MX 101 and Yamaha on every aspect, right? I mean, you know, we ended up with two of our guys at the Motocross Nations the end of the year, and then, you know, Chan goes out and wins the 65 class at the super finale, and Bergeron got second, and I think that was pretty cool. And I don't think 2 years ago, before when we went to England, that, you know, the top brass at Yamaha really understood how fast our Canadian kids on Yamahas in particular were, you know, like, I know they were, when we went to England 2 years ago, it was kind of like, we're just here for fun and we just, you know, want to do this and no expectations. And I was laughing. I'm like, do you know who we brought? Like we have, you know, arguably two, maybe three out of the top 5 or 6 crazy mini parents in the country, you know, with their kids that have grown up. Like they just, you know, you tell Talon that he's just here for fun.
Yeah,
right. Tell Tyler,
gonna race.
Tell Tyler or Derek that they're just here for fun. And Adam and Bursey are no different, right? And so it was good, you know, and they did really well in England, but nowhere near what we did at Ironman last year. So it was cool. It was, like I said, it was a good year. So and I think, you know, obviously Yamaha's very big coming out, pushing the Blue Crew, pushing the super finale stuff, pushing amateur stuff. So I think the timing just really worked.
I think really that program is really cool. Like I think that at first I was like, that seems weird. Like it's definitely replacing the contingency, but just that experience, and like it obviously worked well because we've seen a lot of people just go out and buy Yamahas just to get a chance to go race that, which was, I think, the ultimate point. I think that was really cool. Like that's a cool program they have going there.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, I don't want to speak for them, and they can answer questions on contingency and their rationale, but I believe it's truly just, you know, the Blue Crew, you know, is very similar to what we're doing for memberships here, right? It's that sense of belonging and sense of camaraderie, and, you know, whether it's racing at the top level or, you know, picking up, you know, a Yamaha TTR and going out and riding, you know, being part of this Blue Crew is what they're trying to build. And and I mean, the super finale it's unreal. Like I was blown away the first time that I saw what they were doing and the engagement level and the importance of it from a Yamaha point of view and how professional it was. Insane.
Yeah,
absolutely
that's really
insane.
Cool. Those families definitely get a good experience. Like, and that's also like, there's a couple things, like I know a couple people that went, and it's pretty interesting the contacts they got from it. Just being around that on that weekend, it's like, oh, they know all the brass at Yamaha Canada and stuff, which is kind of invaluable at this level, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's just that human connection, right? Like, you know, I mean, so they've got a human connection now to the top brass at Yamaha. Yeah. And I don't think that any other manufacturer can say that.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know,
it's good
other
to
than
know
maybe
those
KTM,
riders.
right? KTM. Yeah. Other than maybe KTM, because Matt and JSR, you know, were so prominent and available at the track, so that they've got a little bit of a leg up. But I mean, it's not the VP of, you know, of KTM, right? You know, and so it's a little bit unique, and it's darn cool. And I mean, the top guys. I mean, JF, the VP at Yamaha, raced our ammo event that you were at last year. Yeah, like legitimately lined up at the gate and you know, and so it's they really are.
Moto,
they really are moto, you know. So
that's really cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
We're getting a little crazy though. Yamaha isn't paying for this, so we're feeding their.
For this, or we love all brands equally ish. Big
But it is
fans
really
of,
cool.
yeah.
I will
But
say that
it
for
is
free.
cool.
Yeah.
It is cool.
That's
Unfortunately,
awesome.
I bleed blue, so if you interview me, that's what you get.
That's
That's what you
perfect.
get.
That's good.
You know what you're getting.
Yeah, we'll spread it out.
Spread the love.
So talking amateur stuff, like what advice? Like obviously you're growing. Like Bergeron's a good example. You've kind of been supporting him for a while. He's coming out, going into the pros, and you've seen how the family operates and other families at your local races and everything. I think right now in Canada, the amateur scene is like booming. I can't
It
even
is.
count how many people are down south this winter, how many people are chasing the Loretta's dream, how many people were at just World Minis this weekend. It's a lot. Do you have any advice that you would share with these riders? Obviously, everybody has their different path, but anything that you've seen that works, that doesn't work, what do you think?
I think, I mean, the biggest thing, I mean, I just had this discussion with one of my ham families, and I said, like, there is not one path.
Mm-hmm.
If there was one path in how to do this, it would be easy.
Yeah.
But there is no one set path that works for everybody, you know. And I think it's really tough to set expectations as to what is realistic, whether that's results, whether that's level of support, whether that's how much money do you need to spend on a motorcycle to be competitive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it gets out of hand at every level, right? Like amateur right through to pro. You see somebody doing something, and so you need to do it, and you need to spend that money, and you don't.
Mm-hmm.
You really don't. You really don't. You know, you need a good bike that is reliable, but it doesn't have to have every fancy part on it. You don't need to have 3 bikes with every fancy part to go and compete. You know, I mean, the biggest one, and just because it resonates with everybody, was Dylan Wright. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, Dylan Wright literally drove to, you know, Loretta qualifiers or whatever race it was in a beat up van with beat up bikes and duct tape numbers, and would be the guy that was like, who the hell is that?
Mm-hmm.
You know, finishing at the top of stuff, because you don't need it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't need it. Yes, it's nice to have, and yes, everybody wants to look factory, and looking like that these days is so much easier because, you know, getting pit tents and getting pit shirts and getting this and getting that, getting graphics and getting all this stuff is so much more available than it was when I was a kid. But the ultimate core is, you know, being a good person, being a decent family, being somebody that wants to help and respected gets you a lot farther than strictly winning races.
Mm-hmm. And can you talk about that a little bit more? Like, obviously, people know, like, if you're going to win, you're going to end up on a team, blah, blah, blah. But the impact of the family, I think, is not talked about as much. Like, if, like, parents, like, a little message to them saying, like, teams and
Parents, yeah, the
Yeah.
easy message is parents, don't be crazy.
yeah.
It's
that's
you know, there's been more careers ruined from parental, you know, side than have helped it, unfortunately.
yeah.
It's really tough. I mean, and it's tough on a parent level to go from, you know, you were the sole provider of everything. You made every decision, you paid for everything, you did everything. It's really hard to let go. I
Mm-hmm.
can imagine. I mean, my son never, you know, wanted to go that far in the sport of moto, so I didn't have to kind of battle that where, you know, you were looking for others' opinions, but you know, it's tough. I get it, right? And you know, just because you think it's right or you think, you know, you're going to do it this way, it doesn't mean that it's right, and it's hard to listen to somebody that maybe is telling you that you need to do something different. And I can speak for all of the teams when I say none of us make any money doing this. We are all doing this because we love it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we love racing. I can't go out and race anymore, so this is the next best thing. But at the same time, I'm not getting paid if, you know, your son or daughter does well or doesn't do well.
Mm-hmm.
All I get is the satisfaction of helping you get to that next level. So that's tough sometimes, is that it can be a little bit of a tug of war over, you know, direction of things. So
Mm-hmm.
it's, you know, and like I said, I do understand, but for me, the family side of things, the more, you know, decent and supportive you can be of the community of riding, that goes a lot further. People will see that, and I mean, you have to be somebody that people want to be around,
Yeah. Big time.
right? Because speed only makes up for a small portion of the overall what we do.
Yeah. I was just trying to get the point across that sometimes you're at these big races and you see these parents yelling, and like, I just would like to point out to the parents that people are seeing that, and that is being taken into consideration.
Absolutely. I get, I mean, again, I won't speak for everybody else, but 100% that's taken into all of my considerations is far more than speed. It's more the character of the rider, character of the parents. I mean, I've worked really, really hard. And, you know, I used to make my mother crazy when I said, I came from nothing, you know, but, you know, you did not come from nothing. But in the motor world, I came from nothing, right? Like I had no background. I had no parents that had done this, or, you know, I didn't take over somebody's company. Like, this is what I have built through blood, sweat, and tears. So I want to make sure that if people are putting my logo on, or I'm representing somebody, that they're the type of people, the rider, parents, the whole entourage are that I want to have representing me, if that makes sense. So I mean, you know, it's hard not to be. This is a very passion driven sport. I get out of control sometimes. I know it, you know. But for parents, you know, every action that you take is seen, whether you think it is or not. At some level, it's seen, and even more so than it used to be because of social media and all that. Right? There's always a camera on somewhere these days.
Yeah, and it's whether you think it's a small race or a big race, the industry's very small, and
it shouldn't matter.
Talk.
It shouldn't matter, right? It shouldn't matter. I mean, you should act the same in a small race that you do at a big race.
Exactly.
Right? What's the difference?
Yeah, 100%.
That'd be my advice.
Yeah, so it's obvious that like you guys do take that into consideration, and you guys are a tight knit community team kind of thing, and like a good example of that was Seb. It seemed like you guys were all very close. The family was already around. It felt like there was a point where I was like, is Seb Kevin's son? Like, what is going on here?
I mean, that is a joke around here that they are my kids, right? Whether it, you know, it's Austin, Alex, Seb, like, you know what I mean? But they end up being my kids basically.
And that is really cool. But that also leads to a little bit of a like business and pleasure kind of thing. Obviously Seb left the team this year, and it was a bit of a shock to me anyway. Was it a big shock for you? Like, let's talk about that transition right there.
I mean, shock, I guess, is a strong term because nothing really shocks me anymore. I grew up really fast in that environment when Dylan left back in whatever that was, 2015, I think. That one really stung because it was, you know, I'd helped Dill since he was 6 years old, right? Like, and everything was, you know, it was really, really close. And that one really stung.
Would there ever be a time you'd try to get him back?
I never say never. I never say never. I mean, I tell Dill to his face that I love him and hate him, and some days it's at the same time, right? It can be during the same day sometimes, but you know, he's got a riding school coming up here in a couple of weeks, and I think that shocked a few people that, you know, I was allowing him to come and do a school. I'm like, well, why would, like, it didn't even cross my mind, you know what I mean? So, I'd never say that there was never, and I mean, same with Seb, like, who knows what the future holds, right? And, you know, he struggled a little bit this summer, and, you know, we talked about transitioning to the 450, and that was something he wanted to do, and I made him an offer to ride a 450, and, you know, at the same time, Cowie was making him an offer to go ride a 450. And I mean, he chose that I think one of the main things for him was, you know, he felt like he was a number 2 or 3 guy on our team. And he wanted to go somewhere that he could be the number 1 guy. So it's hard to argue, right? I mean, I don't look at any of my guys that they're number 1, number 2, or number 3. You know, Seb had every opportunity with his motorcycle that Kilroy had last year, equally on the 250. And it's kind of funny because I know there's a lot of yammer that, you know, Preston got better stuff than what Seb got. And the funny part is when we started testing again this winter, we went back and revisited some of the stuff because they did end up on slightly different motorcycles at the end. And Preston is now on what Seb was running last year. So, you know, that made me feel good, and that, you know, people can talk and say what they like, but Seb had a very competitive motorcycle last year. And so that wasn't, that was good for me. And yeah, with the 450 thing, him going to Cowie, I was a little bit surprised. The deal was a little bit better money up front, but if he podiums all the way through, he'll actually make less money this year than what he would have made with me on a 450. But yeah, like I said, I think it came down to, either himself or some people that were talking to him, had him convinced that being the number one guy was the most important. And I think that's what kind of swayed him that way. But I mean, he was here Saturday and Sunday, and I went over and hung out with him. And, he was down training with Jess this winter, and it talked obviously I'm not asking him, how's the bike going? How do you feel? Because we're all going to lie to each other anyway. So there's no point even having a discussion. But, we talked RC cars and we talked dirt bikes a little bit. Not specifics in terms of, how's your bike? How's the team? That stuff. But he was here. He's welcome. He bought a membership and came riding. It's all good.
That I think that right there, encapsulates the, goodness of Canadian moto. It's it is kind of if that happened in the States, it would be such a bigger deal and it would be whatever. It is a big deal, but it is also all right, we got to get over it. That hurt my feelings. Okay, move on. We're friends again. That's kind of it. And it's kind of cool that you guys can still hang out. And I guess maybe you don't even have a choice really. You have a track, you got to do it. So it's we all just kind of enjoy it anyway.
Yeah, I guess ultimately, if we're speaking about Seb, if I was a dick and was okay, well, that's it, you can't ride at Sand Del Lee anymore, that would change his life because this is the main place that he rides.
Yeah.
He doesn't have, he would have to pick up and move, whether that meant, like he does for the winter and go live in his camper somewhere for the summer. But yeah, he wouldn't be able to ride if I didn't allow him to ride here. But that stuff doesn't really cross my mind. It's, whatever.
And I don't think it does anywhere in Canada. I think Gopher's open for it. That's that's the really cool part about, we have to do business. Business is business. And at the end of the day, we're still family. That's kind of how it works, which is tough as media. Because I want to make it spicy and stuff. And sometimes I do. And I'm I know everybody's fine and stuff, but it's the storyline is Seb left Yamaha for Cowie, but it's everybody's friends. It's not really that big of a deal.
Yeah, and yes, it is a big deal. You know what I mean? I'm not downplaying it by any means, but I think in Canada, we're different, right? We are definitely friendlier, but a lot of that is there's so much less money on the line.
Yeah.
It's if this is what everybody just did and was solely focused on it, and there was millions on the line, then it might be a little bit different. We might not be hanging out under each other's trucks and things like that. But I don't know. You hear about it from everybody that comes here from the US. They're man, it's just fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. When the gate drops, we're serious, right?
And tensions get high and racing is good.
Tensions were high all summer. Summer.
For sure. But
right? they were
like you said, it's once it's over, it's well, the winter we're gonna talk. You're talking shit about Gopher and Sand Del Lee, who's open first and stuff. It's still friends, but there's a time and a place, which is really cool. I do love that part of Canadian moto.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that's awesome. So another big one that obviously I'm a big proponent of is the WMX. For
what
years,
I haven't heard of it.
I know it's this new thing. I think it just started this year.
Okay.
It may have never existed before this year.
I feel like it never existed before this year.
Yeah. For the last couple years of the press conference, I've asked you the same question, and you said if it makes sense, and I took that and I understood what you were saying, and this year it just made sense. Can you talk a little bit about that coming together, what is happening, and how that all has affected the team kind of?
Yeah, 100%. We had a women's racer at my memory is terrible in terms of timings. But Ali Argue, who, as I mentioned, argues owning the track. She was the daughter of one of the sons of the original founder, Dale, rode out here, and she was fast. Like her and Ev used to literally kill themselves trying to beat each other.
Oh, sick.
It was, oh yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. So I mean, yeah. So she was probably the first BMX rider that we had on the team, and she did a couple years at the nationals, and like I said, battled Ev, and then sort of retired from moto and does horse barrel racing now. And then Kennedy Lutz was super dominant out west and wanted to come east to race Ev. Back when it was very segregated, right? West was west and east was east.
Yeah.
And they wanted to do something, and I was like, yeah, like I'll help out. And so she came and she won the East title that year with us with some support. And yeah, but like I've had opportunities the last few years where I could just pick a name and they would have been American ladies to come up and probably would have won.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, do I really want to do, like, is that good? Or is that just going to go and get a number one plate?
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't really into that. I mean, that's not how I do my amateur stuff. That's not how I, obviously the pro stuff, I'm trying to hire wherever and whoever, but I felt like the WMX was more, I don't want to say like amateur racing, but it was, I mean, Canada, the ladies aren't pro. They do go race junior. They do go race intermediate against the guys as second and third classes. And I didn't feel like just cherry picking up, a top US name and bringing them. I did it actually. Jessica Patterson came up and did a round at Deschambault with us 1 year.
Yeah.
And that was cherry picking, an absolute, but it was because she was friends with Dakotas, friends with Alan Brown. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't just randomly pick up the phone and call JP and be like, hey,
I need a win.
Should come up to this Canadian. Yeah, I need a win. Like, she came up and it was super cool because all of the girls and women, like, just surrounded, like, they were all giving her autograph on the podium. Like, to me, that's cool.
She was a hero.
She was a hero, but to bring her up for a series so that she could just go and win, I don't think it adds value. So we haven't had anybody for a few years. Kaylee, there was, talk of doing something the last couple of years, but then she got something with Al on the Triumph program. So obviously, just kind of let her do her thing. But I mean, in the background, trying to help and be supportive of her just because she had been around, like I said, in the press release, since like 22 with Moffenbauer, like where he kind of helped train her and stuff, was like, if when the team needs somebody, like, she's good, like, and she fits our mold of what we're looking for. And, so then this fall, she wanted to race the Cord and I had a WR. So we, built it up for her and she went and did that. And the stars aligned and she's going to be on a proper Yamaha with us this year, flying the colors.
Oh, that's pretty sweet. That works out good. And that kind of aligns perfectly. Like the family's great. And just the vibe is good. It's
there you go.
It's perfect fit.
It goes, but that's it. It goes right back to what I said, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's 100%.
Her and her family are great people. We hung out a ton last summer.
Yep.
And that I want to be surrounded with people like that. I'm not interested, even if, she was the top female and kind of was cocky and acted like a bitch, and the family was standoffish. I'm out. I don't need that.
Yeah.
But
100%.
it's obviously polar opposite. And hopefully we can kind of be a little bit of added support and whatever she needs to, get that number 2 and 3 off her bike like she's had the last few years and change it to a number 1.
Yeah, it's going to be the season of it. It's going to be a good one.
It's going to be good. Yeah, it's going to be super good.
I don't want to turn this into like a full WMX podcast because I could easily do that. But just like one more thought.
It's Yamaha WMX podcast.
Yeah,
I thought that's what I signed up for.
There's a lot of girls on Yamahas. Like and all the fast ones are pretty much on blue, so they're doing good in my books.
Yeah, it's good. Good.
What do you think of the future of WMX? So you kind of implied there like WMX is currently, and I would agree, is more of the amateur program. But if we're trying to push it into like more of like we have a professional women's series versus, and then the amateur stuff and then Walton and all that, kind of similar to the guys where there's junior, intermediate, pro. Obviously the numbers aren't there yet, but in the future, do you think that's something that could develop? And if it did, would you find more value as a team having like hiring a US rider to come in and just just win or compete, and at that point maybe we have faster Canadians?
Yeah, and I mean, there's certainly an argument with all of that, right? I mean, and even the 250 class for a while, right? Whether it should be all Canadians, because I mean, we've historically had a lot of big name Americans come up, cut their teeth, and you know, there's the argument that it makes everybody faster because you're chasing the better riders. I was on the other side of that in my pro days, where all of the rides seemed to go to Americans and there was no Canadians receiving support. So that was super frustrating, and it went the other way. It actually made me not want to do it, because you're like, I
don't stand a chance. Yeah,
I didn't I didn't feel like I stood a chance, right? And but yeah, I mean, I think there's a place for it. I think we're a ways off where we're going to have enough support from enough ladies to have the distinction of, junior, intermediate, straight pro. We just don't have the numbers, right? So it all kind of blends in currently. But yeah, I mean, I think it's cool. Like I had more women riders at summer camp last year, or girls, if you will, than I've had in years previous.
Yeah.
So I think it's on the upswing right from the grassroots, which is awesome. We've got a few local girls that are starting to go pretty fast on dirt bikes, which is awesome. And yeah, I think it could grow into something that, it's its own entity as a true pro class. I mean, yeah, it's definitely there.
Yeah. It's coming. That's the
word. It is. It's coming. Yeah, it is. It's coming. I mean, I'll be 100% honest in that I'm a little bit nervous with the way that we've done the purse this year. In that I think we're a little ahead of the curve and it might not be sustainable. So that's a worry for me, in that, if the few people that have stepped up huge to make it happen, like Peter from Priority, right? I mean, he has made it a mission to kind of do this, and it's fantastic. But if we're a little bit early of the support and Peter gets tired in a couple of years, it drops, it's going to go back. So I'm a little nervous that we might be jumping a little too far and not taking a step. We might be jumping, in that if it falters at all, it could revert further back than what it was. But I mean,
I can see that argument. Yeah, for sure.
That's my nervousness.
Yeah.
I'm nervous, but at the same time, I mean, I'm hoping not.
Yeah, I think that, for sure you could say we went from 0 to 100 pretty quick, it seems like, which is
that's what I
true.
feel like. That's what I feel like. I feel like
but it's there has never been a better time to do it than
that's
now.
What I'm saying. Doesn't mean that it's wrong. Doesn't mean it's wrong.
And I like the idea of it. Originally it was going to be a lot more, and it was talked about where it's now divided into 2 years, so it kind of creates more of a building thing, which is I know a lot of people are pushing back with the number. The number was actually going to be double that, so people really would have been mad in that situation. So I'm happy that we've extended it to 2 years, which is great. Perfect. And it is a 2-year deal, and it is it should be sustainable. So
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah. So it is a 2-year deal. Originally it was going to be a 1-year deal, and it was double what it is now. So it was pushed that let's make it 2 years for sure. So the contract is signed that this is a 2-year deal. Which makes it be able to build something. And I'm going to be honest, the DMs I'm getting from young US riders that are oh, I don't know if you know, but the WMX in the US pushed the age to 17. And
so ours, I didn't know that, but that is going to be something
huge for us.
Moto, whether it's WMX or outdoor moto, is that is our unhidden, our hidden gem,
our secret weapon,
our secret weapon that I think is going to be ginormous. It's really going to help our momentum.
I'm seeing it in my DMs. There's probably 3 or 4 14, 15-year-old girls that are there's a pay, and our pay is bigger than theirs. They may announce, there may be an announcement that will change, but what do I know?
Okay.
But ours is competitive with what theirs should be.
Perfect.
So I think that there will be a lot of young girls filling our gates from the US, which I like. I even like the fast girls coming up, just because it's we're not far off. We have a couple girls that are going to be very competitive in the top, like in the podium this
Oh
year,
yeah.
which is good.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like yeah, I think it's a really good time because the girls 9 to 16 at Walton this year was really stacked as well. Like there's a couple young girls that are like, you can tell from a woman rider how their technique is, that, okay, the technique's there, the speed will come. And there's 4 or 5 girls in the girls 9 to 16 that have that technique. So building this today in the next 2 years is so important right now, because we have that backpack coming up to make it sustainable, where I don't think we've ever had that before. Like it's been okay, we've had Ev, and that was pretty much it. And like, no offense to all the other girls, but we didn't have like a pack of girls coming up where I wouldn't be pushing. Like I've always pushed this hard, but this year I think I've stepped it up a notch because it is the perfect time. Like there's it's not 100% going to work out, but now just feels like, ooh, this could be sustainable because of the talent that's coming up, because of what's happening in the US, because of what's happening as women's sports as a whole. Like this is the first time I feel actually optimistic about it. So that's
good. No, it's good. No, it's good. It's good.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. So enough of WMX.
I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell. Okay, I couldn't tell.
Yeah, I hide it well.
Yeah, you do hide it well.
Yeah. Let's get back into male moto. What do you have like planned that you're excited for in 2026? Whether it's the Sand Del Lee track, whether it's the national, whether it's like just the team. What's most exciting for 26?
That's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
I think the team. I think we took a huge step in 2025. Very obviously with our results.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty cool. I think that we're positioned even better this year from our overall sort of readiness on the team, bike support, where we are in the program, all that sort of, I think we're a step ahead of where we were last year. So that's really cool because last year was obviously very good. So excited about that across the board. The track, I've taken back ownership of the national, which we've done periodically throughout the last, I'm not sure how many nationals we've run. It's somewhere between 15 and 20. We're somewhere in that range. I'd have to go back and look at the exact years because our first one was back in 2008. But then we upset Stally and got cut for a couple years. So yeah, we're somewhere between 15 and 20, but we've certainly, over the course of that, we've done both sort of the rental with Stally and with Jetworks. And, this year we've kind of taken back.
Can you explain a little bit like what that means? Like, I think a lot of people don't understand like fully how that works. Can you like give like a cliff notes on what that means?
Sure. I mean, I think taking ownership of your national, you are basically fully financially on the hook for a large amount of money that it takes to run a national. And, it's no secret, just like teams or really anything in Canadian moto. Can you make a little bit of money? Yep, you can make a little bit of money. Can you make a ton of money? No, right? In any scenario, it's just not there, right? And so doing the national, the safety net is doing the rental program where, I'm going to say it doesn't matter. Of course it matters because it's not good for anybody to lose money. But from a rental point of view, you're protected by, if 100 people come in or 10,000 come in, you get paid the same. So obviously it's not good if 10,000 come because you're like, shoot, I could have made a boatload of money. But if 100 people come, you're like, ooh, I could have lost a boatload of money this weekend. And so, in the last little bit, Jetworks has taken on that risk, right, of obviously trying to promote it and do everything. But I think where we are in Canada with the, the grassroots and all that sort of side of things, it's, if I'm not pushing to do all of the promotion, obviously we had a national, we're doing some promotion, but it didn't matter if 100 or 5,000 came. I'm not going to try as hard on the promotion side of things. Like, obviously we're going to let people know and we're going to do things, but if I'm the one that's responsible, I'm going to make sure and maybe I have a different idea of what radio station it should be on or what, what promotions we could or couldn't do. And again, going back to Sand Del Lee and the membership and the community, when people know that it's me, they're going to pull a little bit harder.
Yep.
They're going to go out and try and find people or make sure that it's known and so I think that's, the biggest difference is basically the financial. Either you're renting the track and it doesn't really matter how many people come or go, it matters. If it's a flop on me, and that's really bad.
Yeah.
So
I think it's good for the tracks. I think most, I'm not going to point out which ones are which. It's up to them. Most are going to be run like this. And I think it's nice to have skin in the game, Like, I think that's what our series needs right now, where it's like maybe in the previous years, there's been promotion, but there's no there's no staff really to go all out, where like maybe some of the tracks have that. And I think that's going to be a big game changer for the series this year and like the fans at the races ultimately.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. I mean, I thought I've said it pretty openly. I think last year was one of the best that I've kind of been to in terms of like the actual organization at the track and things going. Is there problems? Yeah, there's always problems. Like there's problems with what I do Monday to Friday out here. It's a business. Everybody's going to have opinion. This could have been done better. That could have been done better. Yada, yada, yada. It was good. I thought it was really good. And yeah, we just need to get a few more bums in the seats or a few more bums in the grass.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty good. Like our round last year was pretty big. It was a pretty solid turnout of things, and so.
And I've been saying all year that may have been the best race, not even just in Canada.
Sure.
Ever.
Yeah.
It was pretty unbelievable.
It was pretty chaotic. It was wild. We always have crazy storylines here. We always do. It's just one of those things. So yeah, I mean, and as crazy as that is, the craziness of last year and everybody talking about it is only going to help bring more people out this year. So
exactly.
So I think it's good. We're the military appreciation round. I'm really pumped on that.
Yeah.
We've got super close ties to the Canadian forces out here, with the group that's located really nearby us, and a lot of my friends are part of it and have been through it. So I really want to do something to sort of honor their commitment to the country and what they've done. I want to do a little bit more than just call it around and run some camo graphics. So we've got some ideas in the works. I don't know how much will come to play and how much we'll be able to pull off, but I definitely want to do more than just call it something.
Ooh, that's
so I think
awesome.
So I think that's cool. That's probably what I'm most to go. I mean, this was a 10-minute answer on what I'm most excited about. I think the national and the military appreciation stuff, I think that's what I'm most excited for this summer.
All right. That's awesome. That is really exciting. I do think that those like special one-off races, like the military and whatever, are cool things to bring to Canada. We haven't really done a great job at it, but I think having it at Sand Del Lee will be awesome.
But I think it's really grown, right? Mm-hmm. Like we've done a few years of it now, and I think last year, a lot of people really embraced the look and feel of it.
Oh yeah, the bikes looked sick at Cold Lake last year. Yeah, almost every team did something.
That's what I'm saying,
and not half-assed either. I feel like the U.S. one they just did, they were kind of half-assed. But like
it's
Canada
hard.
went all out last year.
Yeah, they did, and so that's what I mean. I think it's building.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I think it's building, and that's why when Cold Lake was not on the schedule, I kind of threw my hand up instantly and said, "Well, I want to do it." You know what I mean?
Awesome.
Like I want to have that round and do it this year, and
yeah, that's sweet. So we'll end it off with kind of letting you tell us that the boys are flying at the test track. Like how's Jess doing?
Oh my God.
How are they flying?
Just flying at the test track. Absolutely flying.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah. Everybody's firing. I mean, starting down at the 450 stuff with Jess. Yeah. Like he had a really good winter. We started way ahead of where we were last year. Last year was a struggle right from the get-go, to get him comfy and to get him all that stuff. Like the initial sort of ride in the fall on the Yamaha, everything was fantastic. And then when he started riding it, he had a lot of stuff that he wanted to work on, which is fine and it's fair. And, we built all summer, and I think he was the happiest at Motocross the Nations that maybe he's been with his bike and how it worked on those track conditions. Like we went a little bit above and beyond and didn't just bring our Canadian setup down there. You know, we worked hard. Alan spent weeks working to make sure that we met sound and still had power and that the bikes ran well with that setup. And I think it showed. Like we rolled up to sound and rolled right through.
Yeah.
You know, and then made adjustments to actually make the bikes a little bit louder as we went because we were well under the radar or well under the target, which is good. Yeah, that felt good, right? We worked hard on that and did that. And, you know, we did stuff with the chassis setup, you know, for Jess that, you know, was indicative of running a lesser fuel and a lesser sound with less power. And, you know, we even did some chassis stuff for the faster outdoor American type track. And I think he was pretty happy with his bike overall. You know, because I know that's obviously something that the Canadians struggle with when we go to motocross nations is the bikes suck because the tracks are different. So that was good, you know, and so we started further ahead with him than where we did last year.
Okay.
So yeah, nice injury-free winter of lots of riding. He's back home. Yeah, good to go. And then, you know,
what happened with
obviously.
Jess, like, so let's just chat about this real quick and not too much detail, but he was going to go to Paris and race for another team. How does something like that kind of all play out? Like he was going to ride for I don't even want to guess the team name, but another Yamaha.
I was going to say, if you can pull the team name, that's great. Because I have no idea.
I
but
forget. Yeah.
It was, yeah. I mean, it was through Jay Moore and Eric Bernard, and you know, obviously Jess probably has the most Supercross experience of any of our guys.
His last Supercross, I'm pretty sure he got 9th.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, like he's had some
and like
fantastic
then
results,
just
right?
never again. So it's like I don't know how he feels, but I feel empty. So like I need him to go back.
I think he does feel a little bit empty.
Yeah.
I mean, as we've seen, Supercross is rough, right? Injuries are a huge part of it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And he had a couple, and that was kind of it. You know, it's hard to get support in the States for a Canadian guy to do Supercross, you know, because you're not going to get very much US support. So then you're really pulling on the Canadian sponsors to provide support, and it's tough. It's a tough sell.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of curtailed a little bit. Fast forward, you know, some calls were made. Jess was available. Jess wanted to do it. You know, so I lent him the bikes, and actually Adam Powell built a track at his compound that was pretty legit little Supercross track for Jess to kind of get his, you know, to get his feet wet again. You know, so that he could spend less time down in the States at a place with a Supercross track to save him a little bit of money. And unfortunately, he freaking went down, and I don't know if it was day 1 or day 2, but it was pretty early on, and just had a little crash, and he was pretty beat up all summer. You know, there was definitely talk of, you know, was it the right thing to do? I mean, obviously, you know, hurt during the summer, you know, there was, you know, the fact that he even came back and rode Sand Del Lee was absolutely heroic based on how badly beat up he was and how tough that dude is. And then of course he crashed again at the Nations and kind of re-injured some stuff. So I was a little bit like, hey, do we think this is like a good idea? And he's like, yeah, I feel okay. I feel all right. And
always the rider answer.
Pretty much always the rider answer. And yeah, he just, you know, he had a small crash down there and redid some ribs and the shoulder stuff. And it was just like, okay, man, it's time to just park it. And unfortunately that was, I think we were only maybe a week and a half out from Paris. So
it was last minute.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Kind of had to pull the plug, unfortunately.
Dang. Do you think that ends the Supercross dream, or do you think he gives another one a go next year? Obviously it's far away, but maybe.
I was gonna say depends on what you're calling the Supercross dream.
Yeah,
I think the dream. Yeah,
not chasing a series or anything, but
that's it. Being on a team and being on a series. Yeah, I mean, I think that has passed by. You know, he said that he really would like to race a 450 Supercross. So, you know, who knows, right? I mean, if Paris had gone well, there was talk of doing, you know, the Jetworks AMA Supercross in Toronto at the very least. You know, doing that one, would that have spilled over into maybe wanting to race Daytona? Possibly. You know what I mean? Like as the cards kind of fell, like
what could have been
was in play. I mean, I think some of the reason why he wanted to leave KTM was it was a hard no on all of that stuff. Like, you know, rightly or wrongly, I think they sort of felt they'd spent enough money supporting Supercross and not getting return on investment for it. So they were kind of like, no, whereas I'm a little bit more open and able to kind of be flexible with doing races, you know, working with this team over in Paris that needed a guy on a Yamaha on a 450 and just fit the bill. And, you know, it happened to be an FXR gear. So that made it easy, you know, to sell to FXR and some of my sponsors. So yeah, who knows?
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. That's a cool part of definitely being part of that program is the lenience of being able to do stuff like that. That's cool. And then let's talk.
Yeah, I mean, we did it right at the end of the year, right? Like, literally, there was that big money race.
Yeah, that was sick. Yeah.
And again, I mean, Adam Powell was a huge driver in that, where he was beating on Jess and Sebi that they need to go race this thing. And
It's a lot of money.
It was a lot of money. I'm not even kidding you when I say, like, Seb called on Wednesday that he wanted to go race that on Friday. And
that's moto.
Legitimately, well, this is MX 101 moto, because legitimately Oz called me and said, hey, what are you doing? And this is like Wednesday at 5 p.m. And I'm like, just about to have dinner. What are you doing? He's like, just about to go to the shop to prep 2 bikes for Seb to go racing this weekend. Want to come? I'm like, I really don't want to come, but I'll see you in an hour, you know? And we showed up and prepped 2 bikes for him to head south. And then Jess called Thursday night and said, I think I want to go too.
Oh, that's awesome.
So back to the freaking shop we went to build, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
I can pretty confidently say that there's not very many teams or programs that would have done that for them on that short a notice.
That's true. Or capable either. That's awesome. That's really
or capable.
Yeah, that's really sick. That's sweet. I just love to see the guys like race in other races, and I know they all want to, and sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't, but I think it's really cool. Any chance that the MX 101 boys show up for the Super Series at Wild Rose?
I would say probably not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I just heard some other people come in and stuff. I thought maybe, especially Preston's just in Mesquite. It might be easy for him.
Yeah, it might be. I mean, for him, he's raced the last month every weekend.
Yeah, he might need some time off.
Like, no, not time off, but you know what I mean? Like, there's that sort of, you want to get some gate drops in.
Yeah.
And we really had a plan of, you know, from back in October of what races and when. Like, this was all, none of these were fly by night. They were all planned for the last 4 months of what the schedule was going to look like for him. And that's what he wanted to do. And that's what we did. So I don't think he will certainly be there. There was talk of, you know, maybe Jess going and doing some stuff, but yeah, I don't think so. And then obviously the Malinowski deal is a little bit shorter in that, like, it's a very sort of defined window in terms of he's got his club stuff. He's doing this. He's literally coming in. You know, we swung by on the way home from some Kilroy riding. He got to ride a race bike, was pumped, and said, yep, I can race that thing. And he'll be up just before. Everybody's going to race our ammo event.
Okay.
As we always do, we're going to do a photo shoot a couple days before. Then everybody will be here and we'll race that one. And then the weekend after is Loretta's qualifier. So I know, like, Bergeron's going there, Malinowski's going there. So yeah, I don't think the Super Series is probably in our purview.
That's pretty cool. That's so Preston's obviously having like success. Like, I feel like more Canadian riders, like national riders, are getting gate drops in this year. I think that maybe a tide has turned. Obviously he had lots of success at World Mini. Like, how's that? Like, what made you guys decide that?
That was all on him. I mean, we did it last year too. It just wasn't on anybody's radar, right? I mean, he did Cal Classic. And World Mini last year. Gopher was the addition, right? He wanted to up his sand game a little bit, so he actually went to the East Coast this spring and rode with Jess and in some sand, which we didn't do last year. And then he really wanted to come to Gopher and ride his 250. You know, at that MO event, I'm like, that's cool as long as, like, ego is good. Like, you're bringing a knife to a gunfight to, you know, sandy Gopher dunes that it's probably going to be very wet and deep and you're going to be at a big disadvantage. And he didn't care. He just wanted to go do it. So, so we did that. If he'd had his druthers, he would have raced the 2-stroke stuff at Glen Helen as well.
Oh,
he was actively, you know, I did a little bit of looking to try to find him a bike, but yeah, he was actively looking. He wanted to race that as well.
That's awesome. I love to hear that.
Yeah. He would race every weekend if you let him.
Oh,
he really likes racing and gate drops and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So,
I love that. The guy, I don't know. I don't want to talk shit, but I'll talk shit. The guys that are like, yeah, I'm racing 8 races and that's it. It's like, oh man, come on, get out there. Like I get the risk and blah, 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 but nothing delivers like a gate drop. Like you can't replicate that. I don't care what anybody says.
True story.
Yeah. So yeah, that's cool. And then Melanowski, I thought he was coming up on a club bike, but you just kind of implied he's on an MX 101 bike fully.
Yeah, no, he's fully supported with us. It's, I mean, it's a pretty cool deal because obviously he's on a 2-year deal with Club, you know, and I talked to Daniel Blair and he's a huge supporter of gate drops. And basically if Ryder was going to stay in the States, he wasn't doing pro nationals this summer. He is going to do Loretta's stuff and race Loretta's at the end. So getting 8 good solid gate drops in Canada was something that they were okay with. And yeah, we've kind of worked the deal, and obviously, you know, Daniel did ask, is the bike kind of good enough? And you know, Malinowski was on the call and was like, no, the bike's fine. Like, and that was before he'd really ridden ours, but we supported Ryder last year a little bit, right? I mean, they were parked next to us in the tent and got to know him and Robbie, and same thing, super good family, right? Like easy to get along with. Yeah, it just falls into place. Easy to get along with. Made it super easy for this summer to kind of, you know, do something. And so yeah, he'll ride our bike at the pro nationals, and he'll be on a club bike at Loretta's. And
okay, cool. And what about gear? I know he's wearing Fly now in the US. Is he going to be wearing FXR in Canada?
Yes.
Yeah, sweet. Good.
Yes. Yeah, so I mean that one, I mean obviously with that gear change, it would have been an absolutely seamless transition, right? In terms of stuff, but I mean, pretty cool of those guys down there to kind of let them out of that portion, if you will, and come up. But I think, you know, the value that they're going to get, and I mean, you know, it's good for them too, right? I mean, they get to show that a guy at Club, you know, they've got a lot of kids down there, a lot of amateurs down there racing, and you know, and able to kind of show like, you know, you're with us, and this is kind of what we're doing, you know. Option, and Ryder, this is an option, and you know, Daniel said on my discussions with him, he's like, I want to be able to use this, right? Ryder is kind of the first one. Yeah, it's the first one that we've sort of let out of our wings to let him go do stuff. I mean, he went to Australia and raced, right? And for a supercross team over there, and now he's coming up to Canada. And I think Daniel believes in the gate drop thing and knows that Canada is legit in terms of, you know, it's good. It's going to be good competitive racing. Yes,
long motos, tracks getting early, racing with the men.
Yeah,
that is really.
It's interviews, right? Interviews.
Yeah,
all of
that.
That.
Yeah, I think that
all of it.
I think I hope that more US, like the crossover, like the pro circuit sending some guys, like Club sending some guys. I hope this happens more. I hope that this kind of turns into like all of the futures kids, kind of, or next, whatever they want to call it this week. Kids come up to
now.
What?
3 of them now coming.
Yeah, like that's it.
Right?
It feels more like
Malinowski, Way, and Johnson. Like it's pretty cool.
Yeah, like it feels like early 2000s Canadian moto when we had all like the leading edge guys. Like they would bring all the US guys and all that stuff. So I think that does bring so much to our series and makes it a little more legit. Obviously, now they're going to be talking about it even more on Pulp and Racer X and all these places, and it's like like we just really need to take advantage of stuff like that because I think it helps our series so much. So I love that he's coming. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, fully agree.
Yeah, that's sweet. And I think that's the whole team pretty much. We covered everyone. That's exciting. So Nationals Military Appreciation. I don't know if that's been announced, so that's kind of dropped on here. That's pretty sweet. Anything else you want to say? Any shit talking?
Yeah, I mean, we could say that Dylan just got in a bar fight this weekend.
Oh, I heard that.
And it was, you heard that too?
Yeah, it's crazy.
I heard that too. I think we're starting that rumor, but no real shit talking. We'll do that come Calgary.
Yeah, sweet, awesome. And I assume press day Friday. We'll see you there.
See you there. Thank you very much for the call. Good
awesome.
to catch up, and we'll see you in a few weeks.
Thanks so much.
Okay, take care.
You too. Bye-bye.